It's not something that you notice immediately, it's something that creeps up on you really. Only somebody with a hearing loss can actually really relate to it. The frustrations build. You don't hear full sentences and you're kind of bluffing to make up the end, and it's only in context that you get it after everybody else.
I'm in the hearing aid business over 25 years. When people come to a stage of severe loss, it does have a huge impact on your quality of life.
I used to end up sitting, I used to moan to my wife that what was the point of going out? I was sitting on my own. Nobody would talk to me.
When you deal with audiology, you'll find that hearing loss affects people in very different ways. It can lead to a lot of frustrations. It's something that affects everybody involved in the situation.
I definitely would talk to people who feel very isolated and lonely, which is very hard to hear. Their family members would tell us that they're quite cross and grumpy all the time, and it's just basically through frustration that they can't hear.
Like, you think it's the individual speaking to you, you think it's the noise, the ambient sound in the background, the situation you're in. So you just put up with it for years and years and years.
The onset of that then is that they will become depressed, anxious. And then of course, if it goes untreated, we have all these ancillary ailments that will ensue, like high blood pressure, early onset of dementia.
Hearing is not a luxury, it's a necessity.
People will only listen to you for a very short span, and they've either forgotten that you can't hear, or they've lost interest and gone away. And you get really annoyed when people shout at you as though you're stupid instead of deaf. Can you hear me, Robin?
So the campaign for better hearing, it's simple. What we're saying is that every Irish person needs to get their hearing tested at 50 years.
The campaign is all about promoting the positive benefits of looking after your hearing health.
We've sat back and waited for people to come to us. Now we're going out to people and telling them that this is serious. You need to put hearing on your health agenda. You need to look after it.
This is all about driving hearing loss up the health agenda. This is helping more people hear better. This is encouraging every person in Ireland over the age of 50 to take a hearing test, simply just as part of their overall wellness regime.
I used to object to having my hearing aids in. I used to take them out and wander. These, I seek to put them in. These are my little gems.
Our marketing challenges are simple but complex. There's a stigma attached to hearing aids. You know, people don't address hearing loss. That's my main challenge as a marketing director for the company.
People think that hearing loss only happens to the elderly. People associate hearing loss with having a handicap. They think you're sick if you have a hearing loss, when it couldn't be further from the truth.
Currently, there's 600,000 people in Ireland have a hearing loss, but out of those 600,000 people, only 12% look after their hearing. So we test 50,000 people a year. We want to test more people. We want to test those 600,000 people.
A hearing loss, it's irreversible, but it's not untreatable. So when people, there's two parts of my job that are so rewarding. One is when I see somebody who has had a hearing test and they have normal hearing, the joy and elation I see from the result of that test. But the other side is when I see an individual with hearing loss, when they first have their new world of hearing in. So when the hearing devices are put onto their ear, the joy, there's tears, there's just emotion, so much positive emotion.
1 in 5 people under 50 has a loss of hearing, and 1 in 4 over 50, and then over 60 it's 1 in 3. The sad thing is that only 12% look after it.
Most hearing loss in Ireland is treated by medication or surgery. Just if we can get a fraction of the over 50s to take a hearing test, that will be one major leap towards our ultimate goal, which is to get everybody in Ireland tested.
It won't happen in my lifetime. It won't happen within the next year, within the next 10 years.
We currently provide 50,000 free hearing tests a year.
We want those 50,000 people to tell another individual to get their hearing tested.
Pass the test, pass it on. Pass it on to somebody else, refer it to somebody, say, look, this test is really, really important. It's important that we as a company explain the seriousness of the condition and try and drive hearing loss up the health agenda.
So if you pass the test, pass it on.
I was listening to Verdi one night. I was crying, I have to tell you. I haven't done that for years. It was brilliant. I can hear the cat purr. I can hear the clock behind me ticking. My wife can't.
My father-in-law, for example, when he got his hearing devices, he said to me, he said, "Stephen, I thought all the birds in my village were dead for years because I hadn't heard them." So when he got his hearing device, he was like a child. He had this whole new world of sound again that he'd missed for so many years. So the family dynamic changed so radically. It really added to my frustration that more people don't do it. So he started to engage in conversations again. The TV was turned right all the way down. His relationship with his grandchildren, my children, is enriched again because he can hear what they're saying. He can have a two-way conversation now. The other element is the Give Back programme. So we have allocated a fund whereby we can give back to the community.
By donating €8 for every hearing test that is conducted within the 75 clinics nationwide, giving back to people that normally couldn't get hearing aids.
I would talk to people on a daily basis who need hearing aids and mightn't necessarily be in the position to get them, and to be able to give this back is just super to be part of an organisation that is looking towards helping somebody like that.
Of course, we will sell hearing aids off the back of this campaign, there's no doubt about that, and that is a benefit to the company. But the bigger benefit is to the individual who actually seeks help and gets help.
This campaign is it's not about fitting hearing aids, it's about the actual condition itself.
Our job is to inspire, our job is to empower people to say, this is okay, it's okay to take a hearing loss, it's perfectly normal.
So it's an educational programme, it's an awareness programme. I think because we've been in the business over 30 years, we can categorically say that now is the time to start telling people about not looking after the hearing, putting hearing on their health agenda.